Yo, what's cracking everyone? Ericship 111 here. Today we're going to talk about the future of Forza Horizon 4 and what could possibly happen by the end of this year. Now I know in the past many YouTubers, including myself, have discussed about some of the awesome features that redefined Forza Horizon 3, such as custom blueprints, the 1 mile drag strip, all the way to getting rewarded for snapping photos of every car in the game that never quite made it into Forza Horizon 4, particularly at launch. And given with games today where developers can actually implement features after launch, a lot of us Forza players had faith that perhaps Playground Games would bring some of these iconic features back given the demand. But unfortunately that wasn't the case. So with the game being well over a year old now and seeing as how the game has developed and improved since launch, let's speculate together as to what we may get in Forza Horizon 4 by the end of 2020. Who knows, maybe we might be all wrong, or some of us can perhaps predict the future. So in today's video, here are my 5 bold predictions that I think will happen in Forza Horizon 4 by the end of 2020. Starting off with number 1, all Toyotas and Lexuses will become available. So, as some of you may know, the Forza franchise has an extensive list of Toyotas and Lexuses in their games, ranging all the way back to the original Forza Motorsport on the very first Xbox. Now, what I'm saying is that no, unfortunately, not all of the Toyotas that have been in the franchise will return. Favorites like the Toyota Prius, yes, I know, it's a bit of a hit and miss, the Toyota Yaris, or even the 2003 Lexus IS300, which all were last seen in Forza Motorsport 4, they won't ever be in Horizon 4. However, cars like the Mark III Supra, Celica GT4, or the Lexus RCF, those that have been on the current Xbox games from previous Forza Horizon titles, will all eventually return, just so that there is constant additional content being added into the game well through to the end of the year. Essentially, I am making this prediction based on how Playground Games have been including Toyotas into Horizon 4, as since the return of the Toyota Supra Mark IV, we have had one Toyota or Lexus consistently being added every month in every single update. Which Toyota would you like to see return next? Number 2, special edition cars will be up for grabs. So you might be asking, what do I mean by special edition cars? Well, for those who played Forza Horizon 4 in its early months will remember these Horizon Story cars, which essentially were different variants to their stock counterpart that was supposed to be only used specifically in the story missions. However, given that these cars were for whatever reason available to search in the auction house, players managed to begin getting their hands on these Horizon Story cars. The cars we're talking about is the Austin FX4 Taxi and the Chevrolet Bel Air. Now, for those that may be wondering, why are these so special? Well, these cars came with unique modifications that were extremely overpowered, engine swaps that couldn't be done to any other vehicles. For example, the Chevrolet Bel Air HS is classed as an epic instead of rare, and also the Taxi could be modified to well over 1500 brake horsepower with some of the fattest tires at the rear. However, players who bought those cars through the auction house eventually got quietly removed from every player's garage after a certain update. This also included the 2 extra McLaren Sennas, both the Summer Edition and Autumn Edition, which were actually used in the prologue of Horizon 4. These cars were slightly tuned as well compared to the stock Senna, which also ended up having the same fate as the Horizon Story cars. The reason why I say these cars will likely return is since last December, Playground Games officially gave us 2 pre-order cars, the Mercedes AMG GTR and the Nissan GTR, and recently also gave us the Ford Focus RS, all pre-order edition vehicles, which were cars that never really went out as pre-orders. And like the Horizon Story cars, these pre-order cars had special mods and better upgrades, so I believe it's just a matter of time that Playground Games will release these cars to us either as a gift or through an event sometime in the near future. Number 3, enhanced for Xbox Series X. Now this one isn't really a prediction but more of a spoiler, and I must give credit to one of my subscribers over on Twitter for sharing this with me, called Ghost4Z. we can see that Windows Central Gaming announced that Forza Horizon 4 will be showcased in 4K with 120 frames per second on the new console. Now, if you have been up to date with all the recent announcements on the new Xbox, many games that have been released on the Xbox One will get a graphical enhancement. As of right now, there's no news as to whether or not this will be a free upgrade through an update or it will be a game on its own. What we do know is that the latest Gears of War will be getting free enhancements on the new console on day one, but I always think back to many games including Grand Theft Auto 5, Need for Speed Most Wanted, just games that were met in between console generations that ended up being released under separate consoles. Either way, I'm excited to see how Forza Horizon 4 will run on the new Xbox Series X. I assume it'll be like playing the game on a high-end PC with all the ultra settings, but who knows, maybe more content will be released too on the new version. What do you guys think will happen? Number 4, Expansion 3. Speaking of new content, I've always been a big believer that this will or should happen due to the extended lifespan of Forza Horizon 4. In the past, since the first Forza Horizon back on the Xbox 360, each game would span for just 2 years. However, with Horizon 4, an extra year was added to its lifespan due to the new Xbox releasing this year, which will showcase the launch of Forza Motorsport 8, thus pushing Horizon 5 back till 2021. So what does that mean? With Playground Games consistently bringing in new cars every month, the only downfall of this is that we are still being forced to drive around the main map, to the point that it's become a little bit of a grind. I say this because the size of the map that Playground Games have provided us with is just simply too small for it to last another extra year, despite how many new cars they bring in. I'm not being ungrateful, I really do appreciate all the new cars that we get, and it's by far the best efforts that Playground Games have put in any of their Horizon titles. But most of us know the map inside out and would honestly like to drive around something new. In an old video I made last year, I said I would love to see an extension up from Edinburgh where we can see the connecting bridge. Yes, I understand this is just a set prop and it doesn't really mean anything, but just a true map extension around the United Kingdom will be incredible for players who live there and also players like myself that have never been there before. Will this happen? Well, it all depends on the extensive catalogue that the developers have kept as archive in terms of photos and videos when they were out capturing in real life when the game was being made. Perhaps some locations that were supposed to be included in the original map got cut out due to time constraints, and there are a few more areas that they could possibly include. Remember, this is just purely a bold prediction I am making, but an Expansion 3 would be awesome to freshen up the current maps we are driving on in Forza Horizon 4. And number 5, one more new game mode. So recently, Playground Games released the Eliminator, which was a bit of a shock if I'm honest, but it has certainly kept the game fun and fresh. I feel as though the devs did do this because Horizon 4 needed something extra, which wasn't your typical addition like a new Horizon story, but almost something out of left field. Now, I'm not sure what I reckon the next game mode is, but it will be different, definitely something we probably have not even thought about. If that is the case, I'm certainly looking forward to it, or if not, festival playlist or an online adventure mode featuring the expansion packs, because I remember back in Horizon 3, my goodness, I spent so many hours just playing in multiplayer across all 3 maps they gave us, but as of right now, the focus just seems to really be on the main map, which feels almost too saturated in features, which almost feels as though Playground Games are neglecting them. So there we have it, guys. 5 bold predictions that I am making for Forza Horizon 4 that could possibly happen by the end of this year, or 5 possible features that could end up in Forza Horizon 4, whatever you want to call this video. Anyways, if you guys did enjoy this video, please make sure to smash a thumbs up button, that would really help me out. Also, what about you? What do you guys think could possibly happen in this game by the end of 2020? Make sure to write it down in the comment section below. I do read them. And lastly, if you guys would like to see more Forza Horizon 4 content right here on this channel, make sure to click the subscribe button with notifications turned on. That way you won't ever miss out on another video that goes live. And I hope to see you guys in the next video. Peace.